Hello, 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 hello. Hey, ladies. Hey, Pam. Pam's in two places. Hey, Susan. I'm gonna, let's see here. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, like raise your hand. You can hear me? Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh, perfect. Okay. I normally use my headphones and I did not today. So I was like, uh-oh, I hope y'all can hear me. I don't know. Some of you just caught that live video on Facebook and Instagram that talks about like I'm in the weirdest setup right now for this call, but it's fine. I'm here. So I am going to go ahead and get started because this call is already, what is going on here? This call is already recording. So for the replay, and we only have like 39 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Typically, I would have you guys introduce yourself in that chat feature. And as you're hopping on, you can look for the chat feature. I hope that everybody will be able to get on here, maybe, because sometimes people can't find it. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Okay, Susan says, hello. Hi. And I'll say this, you'll hear me say the same thing 90 million times because sometimes people are hopping on at different times. And so then I'll just kind of repeat what I just said so they can grab it. So anytime, if I don't answer a question later, y'all can totally type those questions in the comments. On your screen, is it just me or do you see yourselves? You can tell me that. So reason being is one time you see everyone but Pam. Okay. One time, y'all, someone did not have basically what happened is they went potty and they didn't put like their phone down or whatever. And it was like such a nightmare because I'm not a total technology person. Fortunately, it was toward the end of the call and I was able to like work some magic and get that edited out. So anyway, here we are now. And I'm going to close out that chat box. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So we're going to get started. And I just want to let y'all know that I am so, so excited to be here before y'all this morning and to answer questions and to get you guys rolling. I know y'all are so ready to do so. And so we'll go ahead and do that. So if you had told me literally like a year ago, this particular session, because this is the first session I did, was the Monday after Thanksgiving. So this session is super, super special to me. And I'm really, really excited for y'all because I really believe that for the longest time, many of us have put off health goals and starting new things around holidays. And then we get into the first of the year and then we're like, oh, well, now I'm putting it off because of an anniversary, or now I'm putting it off because of a birthday, or now I'm putting it off because I'm going on vacation. And so for me, starting this round the Monday after Thanksgiving, and I went through Christmas, Christmas Eve, all the Christmas parties, New Year's Eve, which is also our anniversary. And it was like, for the first time, I was like, oh, okay, I can officially do this anytime, anywhere. And that doesn't mean you do it perfectly either, because there's so much room for progress and grace, but it just shows you that there really and truly is a roadmap that we can use to make changes in our lives, but not be so restricted and miserable in the process. So that's really the goal here. And so I hope that you find that to be the case as well. I'll probably say this again in a few minutes, but do know that there is going to be a 2-ish, maybe 3-week learning curve of possibly feeling overwhelmed, possibly feeling frustrated, feeling like you're working really, really, really hard to figure things out, and like you're feeling like this is not even going to make a difference. And so it's really interesting because like I can look at everybody now and like in reading comments or like seeing faces on the calls, and everybody's kind of like deer in headlights and everybody's feeling a little anxious. And so typically, just side note, let me go ahead and tell you now that I usually cry on all my calls because I just have that much emotion wrapped inside of just hope and aspiration for y'all, and just knowing no matter how nervous you are right now, I know. And like in a couple hours, I'll do a call with my week 6 ladies, and we all have been where you are right now. Okay. We all started here. We were all feeling like, oh my gosh, can I do this at the very beginning? And I'm here to tell you that yes, you can. And yes, you will. And I know that right who you are right this moment is not the person you're going to be 6 weeks from now. And you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I should probably tell everybody, go back and listen to the prep call and remember how you felt that day. And remember that I told you, you will not feel this way in 6 weeks. Okay. On multiple levels. You won't feel this way in your energy. You won't feel this way in your health. And you also won't feel this anxious or nervous about what you've gotten yourself into. Anyway, okay. So yes, this time last year, I would not have believed anyone that told me that I would be down 25 pounds, four like pant sizes, in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, emotionally. And that doesn't mean that like I have this perfect body. I will not be in a bikini competition ever. I've had 4 C-sections. I can hardly even do ab exercises. I seriously think they sewed me up wrong because I get like all these weird cramps and like knots, and like you can see it happen. So I mean, like I'm not going to have abs of steel, and I'm totally fine with that. So with that said, I just didn't really ever think that the effects of my poor habits and just my exhaustion were able to be undone. So back literally in June of 2017, I was napping 2 to 3 hours a day. Like my life revolved around when I was going to get in my nap. Sundays, Saturdays, Monday through Friday, like it didn't matter. Do not call me. Do not text me. My phone's off. The kids weren't allowed to interrupt me. I mean, I was like a real vicious person if you had messed with my nap. I can't even tell you the last time I've napped. Like it's been over like 9 months. It was one of my like non-scale victories. You'll hear us talk a lot about that. NSV is what we mean when we say NSV. But it was one of the ones that I didn't even realize until my husband was like, another one is like, you don't nap anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh, how could I like have forgotten that or not realize that? But I wasn't. We were eating most of our meals in the drive-through, fast food, and just really not seeing any way out of like my unhealthy mental and physical habits that had developed over time. Because there was a time that I was obsessively like an obsessive researcher and an obsessive, like you've got to do everything perfectly. And like I didn't vaccinate my kids. Like I was a freakazoid. And I'm not saying you are if you don't vaccinate your children. That's not what I mean. I became so anxious trying to make everything perfect about our health. And then everything just spiraled out of control and it was just a nightmare. And so that shifted me to the other end of the spectrum. And that's why I love this program so much, because I think it's a great balance for those of us who need to not be so perfect. And it's a great balance for those of us who want something that is just doesn't require perfection and restriction. So I hope that you find that here. But anyway, nothing I had ever tried or attempted to try was sustainable or manageable. I mean, I did Whole30, I did paleo, Trim Healthy Mama. I mean, even back in the day, like when I was in my early mid-20s, South Beach, that's what it was then. And so anyway, nothing was sustainable or manageable. And the funny thing is that I obviously have a lot of children. So I have 5. And so most of my friends have a lot of children. And so if we have 6, 5, 7, almost 8 children, some of them, and this is something that we can do in spite of having a large family and something that works for your family, then I feel like anybody can do it. So the more time you have on your hands, the better for you, because you can actually probably do better than just bag salad and like deli meat, which is what I do most of the time. So anyway, but I want you to really, really trust that you're in the right place for the right time. And I promise you that these next 6 weeks, you are going to really begin to reach some of the goals that you thought you haven't been able to attain for a really long time, especially if you're coming from a place of discouragement or exhaustion or just feeling really, really defeated. So, and a lot of us are we're all starting at a different place. We all have different goals. I have a lot of people, even in my October round that's finishing up this week, there's a lady in there who says, I cannot lose any more weight. She's going through just a really, really hard time in life. And in doing so, just had no appetite and was really, really becoming like skin and bones. And so she had approached me and said, can this program, like, I don't care about the faster way to fat loss. She was like, I need the faster way to fat gain. Can we do that? And I'm like, absolutely. So there are people that are, definitely wanting to lose weight or to tone up or to build muscle or to gain weight in a healthy way. We have women who are breastfeeding, women with adrenal fatigue, women with thyroid dysfunction. We have, I have the men's program. So everyone is really here for different reasons. We've got ages all the way from 24. And in my last group, y'all, I had an 80-year-old amputee, by the way. So like her workout, was like carrying grocery bags from her car into her house. Like that was her workout. She had never really had a sustainable way of eating. It's difficult for her to move around in the kitchen, so she wasn't really a huge cook. And y'all, this program transformed her life at 80 years old. So it's never, ever too late to get started and just kind of be in your lane, working on what you need to work on. There are women who, like I said, don't, especially my friend in the group that's pregnant, she's obviously not wanting to lose any weight. She's wanting a healthy pregnancy and to know that she's fueling herself correctly. And then I have other women, y'all, who have a significant amount of weight that they do need to lose to be at the healthy version of them. And my sister-in-law, for one, I think she's almost to a 50-pound weight loss through the faster way. And she started the first week of April. So it's definitely something that you can sustain and maintain for months and years on end. And I definitely want to help you get there. So if you're ever in the process after the learning curve, like just this isn't clicking for me, Amberly, please, please, please reach out. I'm not going to chase you down because even and here I am now coaching this program and leading a team of coaches that are about to be coaching this program. Y'all, I was not really active in the Facebook group. So I'm not going to judge you for not doing that. Some people, it meshes well with their personality and what their needs are. Some people just want to hop on, read the questions, read the information for the day, and then they check out of there. So I'm not going to judge you if you're not involved or very active or engaged, but I'm also not going to chase you because some people just want to be a silent member, and I respect that. So but just don't criticize me at the end of when you do the client survey feedback form and be like, well, she never really checked on me. Actually, I take that back. Sometimes I do just reach out to make sure you're okay, but sometimes I don't. Just never know. Okay. So anyway, I do have notes. And so I want to make sure some of you guys have entered in some questions. And if you've done it in the last hour or so, I haven't checked in. So I hope to cover those. Oh, hang on. Side note. If your friend or your relative has been like, hey, you need to do this program and just enter this girl's name in the box, and you're like, who in the world is this crazy town girl? Sorry about that. But I am Amberly Devers. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5. I'm a business owner. I'm a certified faster way to fat loss coach. I'm in the process of writing don't even know what to call it yet, but it's called 30 Days to Dwellness, and it's about revamping your heart, mind, body, and soul, and a few other things. Also a consulting business called It's Dwellness Consulting, where we help you create the business or the branding, whatever needs you may have as far as it relates to marketing and business development and strategy also. So anyway, that's what I do. And I am so glad that you're here, and it is going to be a great, great 6 weeks. So a real turning point for me, I know I've got some people who are like, y'all don't even want to send me your pictures. You're just mortified. Just an FYI. Oh no, am I frozen? I just got an alert that says your internet is unstable. By the way, I met my mother-in-law's because she has Charter. We have Uverse, and Uverse has a internet outage today. They're doing some work out there. So I'm like, this is fabulous. But anyway, it's not like I can go to Panera and talk to y'all. It's really loud. Okay. So anyway, so I really just got to a point, and I think you will too. You start off thinking, okay, I'm getting in these workouts. I'm doing this nutrition. I am going to kill and crush the faster way to fat loss. And then in the process, your mind kind of shifts a little bit, and you realize, oh, wait a second. I'm not even really thinking about this thing, this me I want to become. I'm actually feeling good, and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. And that's kind of what it's about, is I really want you to get to the place where you are definitely feeling better mentally and emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things, but where it really becomes about that day, and it really becomes about just being glad for where you are and not necessarily focusing on where you have to go, but just being glad for the process and the day that you're in is what is really, really important to me, because you realize you blah, blah, you sort of lose your focus about where it is that you have envisioned yourself, and you're really just glad to be where you are. And it's almost like you're just so proud of yourself for, being mindful of your nutrition and whatever your exercise goals are, that you just almost forget about it. And that is the best place to be, because it's a very positive place to be. So anyway, let's see. What else? One time, y'all, this call lasted like an hour and a half. We were all, it was just like so fun. It was a long story, but basically the call that I had done in the day did not record. I almost just had a heart attack. I was like, am I recording? But I am. And so I felt so terrible that I redid the call that night. And it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. We're all in like our pajamas. People are laying in their bed and just talking away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I already talk fast, but this is a lot of information that I'm trying to get out. So I'm kind of skipping some things that are just like me blabbing. But anyway, you're like, you are, because it doesn't sound like you're skipping things, you're blabbing. Sounds like you're blabbing. But anyway, sorry. Okay, I promised you're going to take your fitness and your nutrition to the next level in ways that you didn't think were possible for you. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I never thought I could think that way. I never thought I could eat that way. I never thought I could have that type of self-control. And, in August of 2017, I literally began with just a few small steps toward health. Some of you know that bit of my story, but basically I said, I'm so exhausted. Like I can't, like getting to the gym with 5 kids, that is the workout. So like I can't get them all there and work out. Like that's just, double time. I think people call it like pulling a double. I was not going to pull a double. So the only thing the goal that I could reach was, I'm going to stay out of the drive-through and I am going to walk 10,000 steps a day. I'm like, even if I'm walking in a circle around my house, I can do that. Sometimes we set these goals that are just so unattainable because they're too lofty and they're too high that you can never meet them. And so then you just stop. So I definitely want you, within the framework of this program, to pick different things for yourself each day, each week that you want to work on. Not everyone starts off doing the workouts, and I'm going to get to that in a couple of minutes. A lot of people just say, I just want to work on the fasting for this first week, or I want to work on, not pouring 3 tablespoons of sugar and like the most unhealthy creamer in the world in my coffee each day. So just, that's kind of where we're at here. We're just kind of all just in our lane. I'm going to provide for you the blueprint of what this looks like, and you get to make your own goals each day, each week, each moment, really, So that's what I want you to do. I'm not going to go into the rest of my story because I don't want to like waste that time. If you're interested one day, I'll tell you for sure. Let's see. There's a toddler in the other room. Can y'all hear the toddler? My favorite thing about this, and I think you'll find as you work through the program, is that you will find that you have been given the freedom to want to choose a better lifestyle instead of having to. Because like I said earlier, life is never going to settle down. There's going to always be chaos of some sort. Holidays, vacations, anniversaries, birthdays, family in town, not to mention just crisis and loss and grief and stress, just everyday stuff. So the best time to learn to navigate life is now, because life is not going away. So, somebody had asked earlier, like, what are the ages of your kids? They are 11, 10. My notes are a little old and everybody's had a birthday. 11, 10, 8, 6, and 4. That's how old my children are. And they actually go to a hybrid school where it's an accredited school for homeschoolers. And so they're there 2 days a week for all their academics, tests, all that. And then they're home the 3 days a week. So that's what we do there. Okay. So I know some of you have already read every single word of every email, the comprehensive guide. You've read it 7 times. You have stalked all the other coaches that are doing the program. And you're like, I am ready. You've meal prepped. You've done the exercises. You're mad that you're not even posting your macros this week. And like, what in the world? I've been waiting forever to get started. But today I'm just going to kind of go over the basis of the Faster Way to Fat Loss, because I want you to have the freedom and the space to figure things out and ask me questions at any time. Emily has a phone. Did Emily hop on here? I can't even see who's on here anymore. Oh, lots of people. Hey, y'all. Hey, Kimberly. Y'all, that's my friend that's pregnant with her 8th child, by the way. So anyway, uh-oh. What's going on here? Okay, so I shouldn't do that. Now I lost myself, y'all. Oh my word. Oh well. Here we go. Really? Okay, I'm back. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But I like to see who's on here, and I have to push this button, and then I get all cattywampus, as you can see. Okay, so okay, the Faster Way to Fat Loss is technically a gluten and dairy-free program, but it is not a requirement. You will hear me say over and over and over and over, this is a blueprint through which you get to work on your goals and your plan and your life in the process. So I am not officially gluten and dairy free. I am, just by nature of the program and kind of what we do each day, I'm a gluten and dairy minimal or gluten and dairy limited. And so some people, if you have obviously health conditions where you may not have gluten or dairy is not good for you, obviously stick to that. But if you're not ready to just X that out of your life right now and you think, well, that's not going to be my life long term, so I don't want to do that now, I'm with you. I hear you. So you continue to work on the changes that you want to implement. But as you may notice, as you begin to eat these whole foods that come from the ground or have a mother, then you're going to naturally eliminate a great deal of the gluten and the dairy from your diet anyway. So I typically eat a little dairy on my low carb days to get in that extra fat. I have not completely cut out processed foods, but I do like to look for processed foods that have limited ingredients. So these are kind of some things that you can kind of learn about along the way. I don't want you to be so overwhelmed with just cutting out everything and staying away from this and staying away from that, because that's not going to give you long-term success. You will basically burn out very quickly. So we're not going to be panic-stricken over eliminating everything and doing everything perfectly. We are going to make healthy changes one step at a time, one day at a time. And each day you will progress further and further. And then months down the road, you will find that some of the things you couldn't change in prep week or week 1 or week 2 of your first round, you're like, oh, I'm ready to work on that now. And you will have the space and the freedom to do that. And that's what I kind of love about the program is, I've been doing it for a year and I'm always finding something new within the blueprint to work on each week for myself. And so that's what I want you to do. This is your journey and this is your story. This is when I get a little bit teary. And that is what makes me so excited to be able to do this, is because we all have a different story and we all have a different reason why we're here. And in the process, something really, really, really big and beautiful begins to transform in each of our hearts and each of our minds. And this becomes your story. And so there's the blueprint, but it's your journey, it's your road trip. And we just kind of encourage each other along the way and make progress toward those goals. And it's not like a 6-week goal. I mean, that's your first goal, but then it becomes another goal and it becomes another goal, whether or not you continue in, a second round or the VIP program. This is literally something you can do forever on your own. So, a lot of people don't want to because they enjoy the community or they enjoy the new information, or just kind of, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the only thing that ever worked for me. And so it's just worth the money to invest in my health now instead of all the copays to invest in poor health later, is the way I look at it. So, and by the way, anyway, side note, it's not always $199. Side note. Okay, so what you've already discovered in your reading is that the Faster Way to Fat Loss turns you from a sugar burner into a fat burner. And that is through carb cycling and intermittent fasting, eating the right macros at the right time. through the carb cycling, those 2 days a week, we deplete that stored glycogen, and it causes our bodies to burn that stored fat. Because if you don't, you're just continually burning sugar and before it turns to fat. And I've had, of course, the guys in my guys group, they've already asked about the alcohol. They're like, tell me about the alcohol. What can we have? What's the best alcohol to drink if I'm going to drink alcohol? Well, here's the deal. The alcohol situation is, hold on. Even if you're drinking something that doesn't have any carbs in it, alcohol in and of itself counts as fat grams, fat macros, right? Or the macronutrient of fat. So what's going to happen is you may not be drinking a lot of calories or drinking a lot of sugar necessarily, but your body, once we become fat burners, they're going to attack that alcohol and they're going to work to burn that. So anytime they're burning alcohol, they're not burning your fat. And so if that, a lot of people will not have the results that they were hoping for because they've kind of been drinking too much alcohol. And it's just like 1 or 2, it's not like a problem. So I would encourage you, if you are going to partake in alcohol, do so on Saturdays, which is your leg day. That's like your treat day, and or just a regular macro day if you can. So, and that's going to be a little bit difficult throughout the holiday season. My number one tip that I did last year for Christmas parties and gatherings, and it's like everybody wants to. I'm actually part of a recovery program. So if you do struggle with alcohol, like pardon all this, but I have to kind of get both ends of the spectrum here. But I would just always do soda water with a bunch of limes with a lot of ice in a short glass. And I was like, I was just as happy as everybody else. So anyway, but I do partake in the alcohol myself a couple days a week on regular macro days if I'm going to. All right. So as you know, Mondays and Tuesdays are going to be your low carb days. On those days, you're going to stay under 50 grams of carbs, net carbs. Remember, net carbs is carbs minus fiber. It's going to take you a little while to get that and grasp that, but I didn't until my second round, just FYI. So Mondays and Tuesdays are low carb days. If you have major thyroid problems, adrenal fatigue, pregnant or breastfeeding, or anything else that's kind of under doctor's care and you're a little curious, I want you to keep your net carbs at 100 or less. Okay. I mean, not much less. I want you to stay right around 100 because you're going to need those and you're going to still have great results with 100. And I actually, when I'm really, really stressed and I've been in the program long enough, on my low carb days, depending on how my adrenals are functioning and just how I'm feeling, I will sometimes do 100 myself. So that's totally fine. And then you're going to have 2 low macro days, which are 25% less of what MyFitnessPal has set up for your goals. And throughout the posting in the next couple of weeks, I will say all this again, and I'll remind you each day of what that day is and how you will calculate it. So don't worry about that. You don't have to keep it straight for today. It does take a little time. But here's the good news. When I figured this out, I was like, hello. The good news here is that you do not have, that doesn't change each week. Every Monday and Tuesday are low carb days. Every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are regular macro days. And every Friday and Sunday are low macro days. That stays the same for 6 weeks. We're not going to mix it up on you. We're not totally cycling it that way. Okay. There's going to be a little chart. I have a team of people. And so hopefully that will be posted at some point. It may have been posted already, posted in the morning, where you can kind of go through and write your goals up at the top and kind of like a little menu planner, if you will. So hopefully that will help you. And then additionally, we're going to practice intermittent fasting. I don't know. A lot of you have probably done a lot of research on the intermittent fasting. Oh, look, y'all, my vest just split up the middle. Anyway, that's what you get for $15. But anyway, the intermittent fasting is a new buzzword. You've probably been hearing a lot of it lately, and it will change your body fat-wise. Also, there are anti-aging benefits that has the ability to heal hormonal issues. And I'm not claiming to be a doctor, and I'm not even an expert, but we do have a Faster Way to Fat Loss coach who is a breast cancer survivor. And the intermittent fasting she attributes to her healing. And so she leads groups of women who she has, created a community of that have previously had cancer. So I know we have a few of those in this group as well. So I'm really, really excited about the intermittent fasting for you. You may want to look at Dr. Stephen Cabral. He has a podcast on intermittent fasting, and it's a game changer. So really, really proud of y'all. There's another coach who has Hashimoto's. My cousin actually at 18 she's my partner in Wellness Consulting. She actually had thyroid cancer at 18, and her thyroid was removed. So this program has been great for her because it's really, really hard to get her medications balanced. But through this program, everything is able to really align much better for her. So I just got a notification that they removed my 40-minute time limit. So if we go a little bit over, that's good. Can't go too over because I have another call at 12. But anyway, I think. Okay, so here's the deal. We are not restricting calories, and we are not restricting nutrition. That is what I love so, so much about this program, is because for years and years and years, we've all restricted calories and over-exercised. And we're all here, most of us, okay? Because that has ruined our metabolism, and that has made us with some unhealthy mindsets. And so a lot of this program is going to shift that for you. So if you've been used to that, if you are coming from keto, if you are coming from a background where you said, oh, I only eat, 1,200 calories a day, or I stay away from this, or I stay away from that, then there's going to be an adjustment period for you mentally, because you're going to say, I can't eat all this food. And for a while, you will not be able to. Emily and I will still say, let's get that fat up. Let's get that protein up. You've got to get more carbs in. You're going to hear us say it until we're blue in the face, because by week 4, we won't be saying it. You'll kind of get it, and you'll kind of figure out what you're doing. And you may just post your
Where'd you go?
Let me take off my thing.
Can anyone else hear
me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, that was weird.
That was
All of a sudden, it just like muted me. I don't know. Okay, so like I said, we're not restricting calories. We're not restricting nutrition. Your bigger obstacle is not going to be how little you can eat. Your bigger obstacle is going to be how much you have to eat. Because what we realize is you're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm eating more than I have been. Like when I get my salad from Zaxby's or whatever, because you're on the go all the time. But when you start fueling yourself with the appropriate macronutrients, it's going to be a different ballgame. So anyway, and that's not to say that you can't get a Zaxby's salad, because I love the Zaxby's Caesar with the grilled chicken, by the way, and the Mediterranean dressing. So you can do that, but the problem is people are coming to the program having been on such a lifestyle of restriction that their body just needs an adjustment time and an adjustment period from doing things differently than you have been before. So, and don't try to trick me, or Emily, because here's the deal. First of all, Emily is now about to become a coach. And so she has the same training and certification that I do as far as the information goes. And so we are trained to look at your macronutrients, and we will say, probably private message you and say, hey, I need to see what your goals are set to, because you're going to try to trick me and set your goals to like a 3-pound weight loss a week. And I'm going to say, oh, you're not eating enough. And so you're going to get mad at me. Oh, I have a great story about somebody getting mad at me. It's actually my 5th grader's teacher from last year. She messages me. She's like, okay, I've decided I'm going to do this program because I would rather be mad at you that it didn't work than be mad at myself for not trying. Oh my goodness. She cracks me up. And within 4 weeks, she was a different person. She was just like, she said she would wake up just like weeping because she found something that gave her passion, gave her purpose in taking care of herself in a way that she's never been able to before. So anyway, and she's not mad at me. So that is a good note. But if you get mad at me, that's okay, because I'm going to tell you, I've got to see some more carbs. I've got to see some more fat. I've got to see some more protein. and you're going to say to me, I can't eat that much. And it's going to be okay for a little while because, y'all, I couldn't meet my macros in the beginning. So that's really, really, really common, and it's going to be okay. And so I don't know if you're like me, but I didn't even know what a macro was until I started this program. I thought macros were just for those like really beefy men that drank water all day long from like a milk jug gallon thing. And they were like macro people. And I was like, that is just way complicated. And I don't know, y'all may discover this too, is that macros are actually the least complicated thing you will ever learn because it's just 3 things: carbs, fats, and protein. That's all you have to look at. And you're going to ask me this question in week 1 and week 2 when you get to your regular macro days. So please make a little like asterisk if you're taking notes, or make a side note. You're going to remember your sugar gets too high. And you're going to say, Amberly, my sugar is too high. My sugar is too high. Your regular macro days, your sugar is going to be high because you're eating a lot of fruit. So if you are like, my sugar's too high, oh no, I messed up, I ruined today, I'm going to say, did you eat Swedish fish and Sour Patch Kids? Or did you eat a banana and an apple and some grapes and whatever else? Where's your sugar coming from? And of course you're going to say, oh, it's coming from, you know, my sweet potato and my banana and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to be like, okay. So, but that's all you have to pay attention to for these next 6 weeks is the carbs, the fat, and the protein. And then on your Mondays and Tuesdays, the fiber, because you're going to want more carbs, and you get more carbs with the more fiber you have because they cancel out. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So sorry, guys. Oh, this is a big kicker. Big kicker. You may have signed up because your friend told you, or you just didn't really read a lot about it. You're like, oh, I've been hearing about that, I'm going to do that. And you're like, where's my 6-week meal plan? Well, guess what, y'all? I don't tell you what to eat. Okay. One reason is because I would go to jail if I'm telling you, if I'm providing for you a meal plan, because I am not a certified dietitian, and like, it's illegal. And I don't think anybody in this group wants to like raise my 5 children. So, or help Bray raise my 5 children. So I don't need to go to jail, first of all. Second of all, y'all, that is what is going to empower you to do this lifestyle. You got to figure it out a little bit. You've got to say, okay, if I do have to go to, you know, this restaurant, or if I am going to this place, or if I am doing this, or if, you know, whatever, what am I going to eat? Well, if I'm just telling you to eat this for your lunch, this for your dinner, here's your 2 snacks every day for the next 6 weeks, you're not going to be forced to learn. You're going to be forced to do what I tell you. And this is all about empowering and equipping you to make this as a lifestyle change through figuring out carbs, fats, and protein. You will eventually do that. I promise you. Do not worry. But yeah, for $200, you don't get a meal plan. Now, I do have a friend. Some of you may know her. Her name is Kristen Babbs. She is anyway, long story, but we had babies, our first babies, 5 months apart. Kristen's an artist, creative, an amazing cook. Y'all, I don't hardly cook. Like if I can do this, anybody can do this, especially if you like enjoy the kitchen. I just make it work because I don't enjoy the kitchen. Well, my friend Kristen does. And so I approached her about 6 months ago. She has had phenomenal results. She actually, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I don't put like sports bra and shorts before and afters on my Instagram page. Because I got a lot of old men following me from church and my parents' friends, and like nobody needs to see that. Okay. But so I always do my before and afters in clothing. So you can kind of see, well, what do I look like to the rest of the world? Because sometimes you like have on a shirt and you're like, well, that doesn't really show. So anyway, what in the world? My mother-in-law is like, okay. So anyhow, lost my train of thought. Let's see, where was I going with that? Oh, but my friend Kristen, she does allow me to share her before and after in her bathing suit in my private groups. So I will show that. But I approached her and I said, I want you to write like a cookbook. And she was like, side note, back up. We had our girls 5 months apart. So when I was like I was just like dumping every kind of fruit and vegetable into a pot, boiling it and putting it in a food processor and making my own baby food. Y'all, she had recipes. She had a website. She was like apple cinnamon strudel and sweet potato something souffle. And I'm like, oh, my poor Annalie is just like getting this pureed. And Amy Claire over there has like gourmet baby food. And so anyway, I knew she'd be phenomenal. She has created a meal plan. It is 6 weeks. It gets emailed to you weekly. It has the macros, so you can enter in the recipe. It may have gotten fixed where she has already entered the MyFitnessPal recipes in. I don't know. It was a mess there for a while because it wasn't showing up publicly, but it may have gotten fixed. But either way, it's still laid out for you. It has a block prepping schedule. It has what meals go with what days. It's not a Faster Way to Fat Loss cookbook because that's like a copyright issue, but it is what she uses and how she has done the program for herself. And it's like gorgeous because she's an incredible designer and creative person. And she also does have a website that she is in the process of making different meal plans and such for people. Her mission and her passion is for families to gather around the table weekly because so many of us don't because we're so busy. And so she wants to provide a simplistic way to do that. And she has also incorporated the carb cycling and the intermittent fasting into that plan. I do have a code for $10 off. I'm trying to think of how much it is. I can't remember if the menu is $59 or $49, and I don't have mine with me. I printed the whole thing out, put it in page protectors, and keep it in a binder. Either way, the code is Faster Ad. Y'all, for a long time, I thought it was a Faster Way advertisement. And she's like, no, you dummy. It's Faster AD, like Amberly Devers. I was like, oh, okay. So Faster AD, and the website is modernhomemade.com. And I'll link that for you guys later. If I forget, please remind me. So that's that. It's everybody loves it. So let's see what else I wanted to say. Okay. When it comes to the workouts, y'all, nobody has time to have a hard time getting up and off the potty. Okay. So do not just be like, all right, I'm blasting it out these 6 weeks. Here I go working out. Please, 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 please focus on the nutrition. If you have not worked out in a while, when you do start the workouts, I want you to cut the workout in half and then do half of that. Like if it calls for 12 lunges, I want you to do 3 on each side. I just want you to go through the motions for the first week or so, work your body up to that. And because if you're miserable and you're so sore, you just don't even really feel good. And I want you focusing on the nutrition. Okay. I did that and I had great results. I did not blast it out because I thought, you know what? I'm doing this plan differently than all the others. I would start off in a sprint and then I would crash. And so I want you to start off like a marathon. I want you to build your body slowly. And I want you to do half of what you want to do just for the first week or two if you haven't worked out in a long time. Okay. Oops. I had a question pop up. Let me see. Coming in from Susan. What if we've already been doing Orange Theory and we are moving over to these? I think if you have been doing Orange Theory, you're going to be fine. Or if you've been doing anything consistently, you're going to be fine. I was only walking and running when I first began the Faster Way to Fat Loss workouts. And so this is a lot of strength training, and I had not been doing that. So I started off really doing minimal just for the first couple of weeks. I started with the beginner. So I would encourage anyone who has not worked out in a long time to do that. But if you have been working out consistently, just, jump right in. But if you are sore, don't be mad at me. Okay, so, because I hate to be in pain when I'm trying to sit on the commode. My mother-in-law calls it the commode. Okay, so, excuse me, a little housekeeping things. Please post all of your questions that you have in the daily thread. And because we're all in different stages and phases, there's really nothing that's dumb. And somebody may ask the question and you might not see it. And then you post the question. You're like, oh my gosh, I feel so dumb. Somebody already asked that. No, because Facebook is crazy. And that's another housekeeping item. I do not always see everything. Emily does not always see everything. It gets hidden from us. We can't find it. So if you do not hear back from me or Emily in 24 hours, please tag us because we just didn't see it. We are not ignoring you. We did not see it. You're going to understand what I'm talking about as our threads increase each day. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't even find Tuesday. So it's just Facebook. They're in the process of trying to figure out a different platform, but this is what we have for now. So once again, keep everything in that daily thread. That does help with the organization. And then if you haven't heard from us, please tag us because it means that we just didn't see it. It's just not there. We will start posting our macros Monday. And in case you didn't see, I actually don't want you to post that pie chart. I want you to post the nutrient tab because that is what's going to help you each day see what your goal is and see what you have left to complete. And it's just easier for y'all in the beginning. And so I want you to do that. Let's see what else. The post will arrive each morning, typically around 6 a.m. And then Emily or I will be checking in, answering questions, responding to comments. Definitely twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Sundays are my Sabbath. And so I spend the day attending worship, being with my family, and just kind of resting and unplugging. So I typically do not check into the group until the afternoon or the evening when we're kind of settling back down for the day. Let's see what else. Okay, so you will, my second thing, or whatever number I'm on, is to tell you not to be in a panic. You're going to make progress over the next 6 weeks, I promise. Oh, and please feel free to share your recipes, your snacks, your meals as a resource for each other. It is super, super helpful. Y'all can do that. And I'll share things sometimes from what I'm doing. Oh, can I ask about what protein powder in those muffins? Okay, so the protein powder is a really, really long story about me and one thing I love about the Faster Way to Fat Loss is that there were no products that you had to purchase, right? So I am not a real product person until recently because my theory has always been I had looked for all these different things. This was going to make me trim. I was going to swallow this capsule. I was going to drink this powder. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. And that's all I would need to do to be healthy. So like I said, I went to the opposite end of the spectrum. And just recently have I begun to implement products and supplements back into my regimen because, hey, here's the deal. You can't supplement poor nutrition, right? So all these years I was thinking this was going to do it for me. And it wasn't. So I'm just now doing that. I have tried 1 bazillion protein powders. Okay. 1 zillion. And it's a long story, but the way I got hooked up with the girl that I'm partnering with that is an expert in nutrition through Arbonne, y'all may know her, Kristen Shoemaker. I said, hey, I want you to be part of my team because I can't go there with with being an expert in anything because that's an unhealthy place for me mentally. I said, but I trust you. You're full of integrity. I know your character and you are an expert at what you do. I said, so I want to try some of these things mainly because here's what happened. I was having major insomnia. And I said to my friend Kristen, I want to try this sleep spray you use. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm about to order 5 bottles because they just ran out. It was sold out and I was freaking out. It is amazing because I was having insomnia and, the only thing that was working for me, which was not sustainable long-term, was NyQuil. So Benadryl didn't work. Melatonin didn't work. All these other things I was taking weren't working. I was desperate. So when the sleep spray worked, I approached her. I said, okay, I want to try everything you have because I want to see, because people like Pam here are asking me, what protein powder do you use? And I had tried a bunch. I mean, stuff I'd gotten at Costco, Whole Foods, Amazon, whatever, because I wanted to be able to recommend something to people when they asked. And I just didn't really like any of them. So Kristen's like, you're going to like it. And I'm like, I can assure you I'm not. I don't even like protein powder, but I need it sometimes because I'm in a hurry. Y'all, I only have to shake this stuff up with some almond milk and it's good. And so anyway, that to answer your question, the long way is Arbonne protein powder is what I use. And I love the chocolate. I love the vanilla. My kids even love it. And we were never really big protein powder person because I just didn't never really like any of it. But this I do like, and it is plant-based. So that's that. Okay. If you want me to help you figure that out, I don't really know how to do that, but I can point you in the right direction. Let's see. Like I said, do the nutrient tab, not the pie chart. Okay, quick overview. Macros are fats, carbs, and protein. That's all you're paying attention to. Mondays and Tuesdays are low carb days, and we consume less than 50 grams of carbs unless you are pregnant, breastfeeding, all those things I mentioned earlier. And this is important, y'all. My sister-in-law that's lost all the weight, she was like, Amberly, I just somehow didn't grasp this. On your low carb days, y'all, you double your fat. All right. So like, I don't even know what mine are right now. I think I'm at like 70. No, that can't be right. I'll have to look. But whatever MyFitnessPal told you your grams of fat are kind of on a regular basis, what that became, you double that on Mondays and Tuesdays, because what we lack in carbs on Mondays and Tuesdays, we make up for in fat. Okay. So I hope y'all heard me say that. Also, if you have adrenal fatigue, pregnant, breastfeeding, thyroid issues, I really want you to stick to a 12-hour fasting window. Sorry, I'm like getting all stopped up. A fasting window, especially as it relates to what your doctor suggests. I would start off at 12, and then maybe the next week you can increase it to 12 and a half. And then the next week, increase it to 13. The next week, 13 and a half. Breastfeeding and pregnant women have not had any problems with that, but my adrenal fatigue and thyroid people sometimes want to keep it at 12 hours. And you work on it according to what you feel is safe. I'm not going to say you can't, because, you may be at a place of healing and you're just kind of like working on that. So just keep me posted at what you're thinking about each week and let me know as far as that goes. We'll post that macro planning sheet. Don't forget to fill out your client assessment form. Okay. I've got 8 minutes, y'all. And I've got a lot of questions. I will also post a file that has some frequently asked questions. So sometimes you can kind of go through and read that. Basically, what I'm about to go over will be in a file in this page. And y'all can read those because it's a lot of information. You won't grasp it all in the beginning. And I'll say it over and over, and I don't mind because it takes a while to like really sink in sometimes. So can you have coffee before noon? Absolutely. And no, it does not have to be black. You can have up to 50 calories of whatever you choose in your coffee, honestly. For sweetener, I would suggest stevia. I personally, everybody loves these nut pods. I don't like them. I keep trying to like them, y'all, and I just don't like them. I actually like the coconut, what is it called? Oh my gosh, So Delicious, I think. And it comes in like a little pint-sized thing. And I like the French vanilla of that. They also, and I literally measure out 1 tablespoon per cup I have. Some people say, well, why can't we have dairy? Well, both dairy and gluten are inflammatory agents, if you will. So they're going to cause more inflammation for a lot of people. So that's why they say no dairy and no gluten. So if you don't completely cut it out and you're feeling like I'm not having the results I was hoping for, then that may be something you want to consider. How much freedom is there to differentiate workout days and days within the carb cycle? Okay, here's the deal. I'm all about freedom, but you want to be careful deviating too far from the program, especially in the beginning. There's a time and a place for that in the months to come. But for now, most of us coaches, like there's like 5,000 plus people living this way, and we all typically stay within the same cycle. You may want to mix it up here and there if you have like, a weekend out of town or just whatever may work, but I wouldn't do that regularly. Stick to the plan in as much as you can, because we want to keep those 2 low carb days back to back and follow them with a regular macro day. That's how the program was designed, and that's what makes it work. And we want to pair those low carb days with that HIIT, Tabata, sprint exercises, and then the regular strength training with the regular macro days. Let's see. Oh, remember, y'all, we're eating until we're 80% full. So if you're like, I got to get my 273 grams of carbs in no matter what, and you are just like laying out on the floor miserable, that's not what we're doing. You will eventually need all these macros, but y'all, it may not even be until week 12. Okay. So just eat until you're 80% full for now. And Emily and I are going to say, you need more, you need more, you need more. And that's just because we don't want you to think it's where you're going to stay. We want you to definitely be doing that. Is there a water goal per day? Susan asks. Well, it's going to vary per individual. The rule of thumb is half of your body weight in ounces. Let's see. What about the sugar? Okay. We already talked about that. Should we exercise before or after we break our fast? Okay. Here's the deal. And you'll hear me say this time and time again. The best time to exercise is the time that you can exercise. The best workout to do is the workout that you can do. So for example, if you're paying a membership to Burn or to Orange Theory or to Pure Barre or to whatever it may be, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want the most of this program. Like, you finish out your membership and save these workouts to do later. Or if you say, you know what, I'm fine with taking a break from that. I really want to do these workouts. Like, they're very, very effective. They're very, very efficient. I've done Orange Theory. I've done Pure Barre. What else have I done? Like, things like that, all the boot camps, everything, and these are by far the thing that has changed my body the most. So they're really, the way they're created is there. Do I need Instagram for this program? Not at all. But we obviously do need the Facebook group. Answer the water. Oh, will we sabotage the plan if we are vacationing and not sticking to the program? Nope. Because you're not vacationing for the next 6 weeks, are you? I mean, I hope not. So I typically, when I go out of town, I will stick to the fasting schedule. And then I will pick one meal and one snack per that vacation day that are on plan. And then I practice freedom and flexibility and memories over macros. That doesn't give me a license to overindulge. Oh, well, since I've already done my one meal and my one snack on plan, the rest of the time I'm just going to overindulge. That's not what it means. It's just that, you don't have to be as mindful of it those other times. That's just what I do. Is kombucha okay during fasting? Yes, depending on the caloric intake. Some have a higher calorie intake. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Anyway, some are higher in calories than others, so you'll just need to pay attention to the serving size. Can I adjust my macro goals since my protein seems low? Is 45, 25, 30 okay? Okay, so here's the deal. For now, it is best to stick to the program's suggested goals unless I have a couple people who have some insulin resistance issues and diabetes, and we may, depending on your carb sensitivity, may make some adjustments there. But if you don't have any of those problems, try to just try to stick to what is planned here and how it is written for now. Is bone broth okay while fasted? Yes, up to 50 calories, and it's great and satisfying. Let's see what else. And okay, let me read some other questions. Okay, Susan says, you mentioned Saturday is a treat day. Oopsie. I'm glad I'm not sharing my screen because y'all would have just been like, what in the world? Okay, Susan says, you mentioned Saturday is treat day. How do we count that into macros? So the acronym is IIFYM. Wait, IIFYM, if it fits your macros, okay? So you'll just program it in. And if you go over, you go over. You want to try to stay within your goals, but sometimes those donuts don't. Y'all want to know what my leg day treat was my first 3 or 4 weeks? Sarah Barber is going to love this because y'all, we are McDonald's fans. Is that not terrible? I know it's so terrible, but it's just like a childhood memory. I just can't get away from it. So, I mean, I haven't had McDonald's in months, way months, but that was my treat right after I did my legs on Saturday. My first round was a cheeseburger and French fries from McDonald's. So, and I don't even think I programmed it in. Y'all, I'm the worst coach ever. But yes, you may feel free to program it in, program in that donut, program in those French fries, program in the glasses of wine, program in the Swedish fish, program in the chocolate, whatever you choose to enjoy on Saturday, program it in just to see. I mean, it's not like you're going to be in trouble because you went over and you're in the red. It's just a helpful tool. Oh my gosh, y'all. My guys are probably waiting. Probably not. They probably are like, what? We have a call? Okay. Let me see. I answered the coffee thing. Oh, I'm planning to do the workouts, but if I miss a day, are additional adjustments needed for that day? No. We just move on to the next day. We do the best we can this day, today, and then we move on to tomorrow. We're not going to like try to like, out exercise a bad diet or a bad choice. That's not the mentality we're going to have. Can we eat 12 to 8 one day and 11 to 7 another day? I do. Some days I'll break my fast at 11. Some days I break my fast at 1, and I don't say, oh, well, this day it was only, 15 hours here and then 18 hours there. So yes, do what works best for your schedule. You're going to have great results without being perfect. And to me, that's a little too perfectionistic, and I'm an overcoming perfectionist. So I'm going to go with the way I live this lifestyle, and that is a no. I'm going to, if I need to fluctuate one day to the next, I do. Are there any foods that are off limits, or is everything okay as long as the macros are within the suggested range? I'm going to say I don't know of anything that's off limits. No, I don't live with an off limits thing. Have you ever tried Whole30? Have you ever been the person that went to the party or the dinner thing with your own salad dressing? No, we are not going to be doing that. Okay. So you're going to learn how to make this program work without being without being a perfectionist, and being flexible and being intentional. So I'm going to say, no, there's nothing that's off limits. Now, you're not going to have like a baked potato on a Monday or a Tuesday because it's a low carb day. So nothing's off limits as long as you're staying within your macros. Some people, are going to say, oh yeah, dairy's off limits, or gluten's off limits, or any processed food is off limits. I'm not going to live that way. So like I said at the beginning of the call, this is your journey. If you want to say, oh, I'm not having processed foods for 6 weeks, Amberly, I'm going to say, I'm so proud of you. You are like amazing. Or if you're going to say, nope, I'm not having dairy, I'm going to be proud of you. Like, I want you to work within this blueprint that fits your lifestyle best. And so I'm going to say that no, there's nothing that I would say is like off limits. If I am having a brain lapse and Emily wants to be like, Amberly, such and such is off limits, then remind us, Emily, tell us. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. So I've been doing the turmeric latte in the mornings, no sugar, just stevia, but it's about 100 calories more if I add coconut oil. So you are going to have a little more freedom here, Kimberly, because you're pregnant and you're probably going to be breaking your fast a little bit sooner than we are. So you might be able to have that particular coffee or latte that you like because you're going to be eating a little bit sooner than the rest of us. So anyway, that is all that we have for today. And so thank y'all so much for showing up and listening. It's a lot of information, and I really feel like I can't even get it in, obviously, even in an hour. So feel free to ask any more questions. I'll post the replay of this. It'll come through like a YouTube video, and then wait for that, and then ask the questions in that thread later so that all the other people that were catching the replay later on can see them as well. So thank you so much, y'all. I got to figure out how to end this, and I will talk to y'all soon. Okay. Bye, y'all.